Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Pure energy continuously poured into Xiao Yan's body like floodwater, causing a crackling sound to be emitted from his body. Under this crazy pouring in of energy, Xiao Yan sensed the Do Qi in his body, which had been exhausted, completely recover. Moreover, the Do Qi contained within his body seemed to be a little denser than it had been earlier. What a frightening bodhisattva ancient tree! Xiao Yan involuntarily inhaled a breath of cool air when he sensed the change in his body. The energy within this bodhisattva ancient tree was extremely pure. It did not require any refinement before transforming into Do Qi that one could absorb. In other words, this bodhisattva ancient tree was like an inexhaustible Do Qi fountain. As long as it was around, one would not need to worry about exhausting one's Do Qi. Of course, this was not the most frightening thing. The bodhisattva ancient tree also seemed to contain an obscure expansionist ability. For example, the amount of Do Qi that Xiao Yang's body could store was fixed, but the bodhisattva ancient tree was able to faintly increase this fixed capacity. In other words, the bodhisattva ancient tree had caused the Do Qi storage in his body to expand while aiding his recovery of Do Qi. This was an extremely powerful ability. If this capacity continued to increase, the so-called Do Xing bottleneck, otherwise known as the vast stream to cross to break through to the Do Xing class, would slowly disappear because of this gradual expansion. Rustle. While Xiao Yan was feeling shocked because of the mighty Do Qi within his body, the bodhisattva ancient tree once again began to sway. It emitted a rustling sound as it seemed to urge Xiao Yan to continue refining the bodhisattva seeds. This bitter work is really worthwhile. Xiao Yan quietly praised this refinement in his heart. He no longer dared to delay any longer, as he once again released his heavenly flame and another bodhisattva seed was thrown into it. He would naturally no longer be stingy with his Do Qi, and when his Do Qi was completely exhausted, the bodhisattva ancient tree would help him replenish it. At the same time, it would also provide him with an additional rich reward. Under the urge of these tempting benefits, the tiredness from the refinement was naturally an inconsequential matter. The body of the current Xiao Yang was filled with a drive. Xiao Yang's palm turned into a cauldron. The fierce flame emitted a frighteningly high temperature. At the same time, the Do Qi within Xiao Yang's body disappeared at a shocking speed. With the aid of the bodhisattva ancient tree, this Do Qi fountain, he could squander without any worry. A bodhisattva seed turned into a wisp of refreshing air because of this wild refinement. It rose from the flame and entered the emerald green tree. At the same time, a tendril of black vapor once again disappeared. Rustle. The bodhisattva ancient tree emitted a joyous cry as it sensed the black vapor gradually disappear. It swayed its branches as a mighty and pure energy continued to pour into Xiao Yang's body. Within the blink of an eye, the tired Xiao Yang was reinvigorated. Continue. Xiao Yang involuntarily laughed when he sensed that his body had once again been filled with an even stronger Do Qi. Before the bodhisattva ancient tree could encourage him, he had grabbed a bodhisattva seed and continued the refinement process. The space covered in a green color was filled with a great life force. There was no exact concept of time in this place. Xiao Yang could only clearly remember that the bodhisattva ancient tree had aided him in the recovery of his Do Qi 28 times. The first batch of bodhisattva ancient seed had been completely refined by him, but these bodhisattva ancient seed did not completely remove the negative emotions within the bodhisattva ancient tree. Hence, Xiao Yang was able to retain his calmness when dozens of bodhisattva seeds once again flew out of the bodhisattva ancient tree. After having refined so many bodhisattva seeds, these rare objects, which would cause any outsider to go crazy, were regarded as something ordinary by Xiao Yang. In summary, Xiao Yang was numb. However, Xiao Yang had also made relatively large gains after refining so many bodhisattva seeds. The expended Do Qi within his body was already many times greater than what it had been earlier. This kind of refinement continued. Xiao Yang did not request to rest. Instead, the refinement had become a routine. He picked up a bodhisattva seed and refined it. After which, a wisp of refreshing air entered the bodhisattva ancient tree. Then, he picked up another bodhisattva seed. This cycle repeated itself and did not stop for even a moment. This cycle continued for an unknown period of time. After a while, Xiao Yan extended his hand in an attempt to grab a bodhisattva seed, but he only grasped empty air. It was then that he discovered that he had already refined all the bodhisattva seeds in front of him. Xiao Yang shook his head as he grabbed at nothing. His eyes landed on the bodhisattva ancient tree in front of him. He coincidentally managed to see a wisp of black vapor slowly seep out of the tree. It finally turned into nothing and vanished. After the disappearance of this wisp of black vapor, the emerald bodhisattva ancient tree suddenly emitted a buzzing sound. A green light surged before many glaring green rays erupted from the tree's bodies. They spread and caused the already rich life force present to grow denser. Has it been completely removed? Xiao Yang looked at the bodhisattva ancient tree. At this moment, the bodhisattva ancient tree was undoubtedly a much more emerald green than before. Moreover, the dark chill that had vaguely emanated from it also disappeared. The current bodhisattva ancient tree gave one a peaceful, divine, and intelligent feeling of mystery. Rustle, rustle. One of the ancient tree branches was slowly extended. It was like a person's hand as it rubbed Xiao Yang's head. Xiao Yang could sense a joyous emotion from that tree branch. It is good that the negative emotions have been completely removed. Xiao Yang smiled. He also patted the bodhisattva ancient tree's branch. After which, a fatigue that originated from his soul suddenly surged, causing him to shut both of his eyes. Subsequently, his head also lowered. The exhaustion from refining the bodhisattva seeds, during this period of time, was really too great. Although the bodhisattva ancient tree had aided him in with his exhausted do qi, the tiredness of his soul could not be recovered as easily. Now that Xiao Yang had finally relaxed, the fatigue from his soul, which he had been suppressing, suddenly appeared. It caused Xiao Yang to descend into a slumber. Buzz buzz. An unusual sound was emitted from the bodhisattva ancient tree when it saw Xiao Yang lower his head and descend into a slumber. An emerald light immediately erupted from within its body. The light turned into a countless number of hands that pulled at Xiao Yang's seated figure. The moment the two made contact, many ripples rose on the tree's body as Xiao Yang slowly merged with it. He became like a statue that sat at the center of the tree without moving. Soon after Xiao Yang was pulled into the bodhisattva ancient tree, the bodhisattva ancient tree began to swing its branches. Waves of unusual ripples spread apart, and many spatial holes were torn open. Numerous miserable figures were spat out. They were surprisingly the group that had entered the bodhisattva ancient tree with Xiao Yang. Zun'er's group was also among them. Everyone's expression changed when they suddenly appeared in this strange place. Some fear lingered on many of their faces. They now understood that everything they had experienced earlier was an illusion. What a frightening bodhisattva ancient tree! Even those as strong as Zun'er and Hunyu were unable to retain their calmness at this moment. They recalled the illusion from earlier and involuntarily felt a cold sweat form. If not for this sudden change, they would have remained in their illusions forever. Everyone gradually recovered. Only then did they slowly withdraw the shock within their hearts and began to observe this mysterious place, which was filled with pulsating life. Bodhisattva ancient tree. This place was not very big. Hence, the many pairs of eyes gathered on the jade-like ancient tree at the middle. A shocked voice was involuntarily spat out from the mouths of these people. After experiencing the illusion from earlier, they were extremely terrified of this ancient tree. There was nothing more miserable and tragic than dying in an illusion. Xiao Yang Ge. The eyes of everyone present focused on the bodhisattva ancient tree. Soon after, Zun'er recognized a skinny figure within the tree trunk. Her face drastically changed. Xiao Yang. The remaining people saw what she saw while Zun'er's expression was changing. All of their expressions quickly experienced varying degrees of alterations. Zun'er, don't be reckless. This is perhaps a great opportunity. Jiyu Qingyang grabbed Zun'er and reminded her in a deep voice. Zun'er only woke up after hearing Jiyu Qingyang's words. She properly recalled her memories related to this bodhisattva ancient tree. A moment later, she began to slowly nod. Based on the records of some ancient books, the bodhisattva ancient tree possessed 3 treasures. The first was the bodhisattva heart, the second was the bodhisattva seed, and the third was to comprehend the nature of the world through the bodhisattva ancient tree. It was not difficult to comprehend the first 2 treasures. Both treasures were tangible things owned by the bodhisattva ancient tree. However, the third was a little vague and imaginary. The bodhisattva ancient tree was called the knowledge reincarnation tree. It was rumored to have the mysterious effect that allowed one to experience 100 reincarnation. Those who had undergone such reincarnations were rumored to be able to step into the Do-D class. Although this was only a rumor, there was still a countless number of experts who had gone crazy because of this vague legend. A Do-D was the ultimate level that existed only in legends. Every pair of eyes in this life-filled space gathered on Xiao Yan, who had been embraced by the ancient tree. Their eyes were relatively hot. Those who could come to this place had naturally heard of the 3 bodhisattva treasures. This so-called meditation under the bodhisattva ancient tree might seem very vague and undetectable, but the potential that it could provide caused one to go crazy. How did this fellow end up gaining such an advantage first? Zhu Feng's expression was gloomy. Even with his character, he could not control the jealousy that filled his stomach. He would rather these great benefits be given to anyone but someone he disliked. The warm smile, which usually hung on Han Yu's face by the side, significantly diminished while Zhu Feng's expression was gloomy. His fingers continued to rub against each other. Clearly, the emotions in his heart were not as calm as he appeared on the surface. No one would be able to remain calm if one could gain such a great potential. Had I known earlier, I would have summoned the experts from the clan using the spatial jade token outside. At this moment, Han Yu felt regret form within his heart. If he had not been worried that the experts from the Jiyu clan would have intervened, he would have shattered the spatial jade token and summoned the experts from the Han clan to kill Xiao Yang the moment he broke out of the beast tide. Since Xiao Yang was with the Jiyu clan, Han Yu could not forcefully attack him. After all, Han Yu understood that these people from the Jiyu clan also possessed a spatial jade token to summon their clan's experts. If they were to end up entangled with each other outside the tree, they would only end up benefiting the rest. Only at this moment did Han Yu feel some regret in his heart, but it was too late. The space in this place was a created realm. It was not possible for a spatial ripple to be created here, so he could not summon the experts from the Han clan. Han Yu's eyes flickered. He suddenly looked at Zhu Feng. Both of them glanced at each other. They were able to detect a dark chill in the other party's eyes, and their chins were gently inclined in a manner unnoticeable to others. Bang! Han Yu and Zhu Feng suddenly moved after their chins lowered. They turned into 2 black lines and appeared under the bodhisattva ancient tree with such swiftness that no one could react. The both of them circulated the Do Qi in their bodies as they ruthlessly attacked Xiao Yang, who had been embraced by the tree. From the looks of it, they were planning on forcefully waking Xiao Yang from his slumber. Han Yu, how dare you! Zana's group detected their destination the moment those 2 figures shot out. Their expressions drastically changed. 2 handprints were swiftly formed in front of Zun by a golden flame. These 2 handprints quickly shot toward Han Yu and Zhu Feng. However, the both of them decided to ignore Zana's attack. Frightening Do Qi was present in their hands as they ruthlessly slammed toward the bodhisattva ancient tree. Bang! A muffled sound was emitted when the ferocious palm winds landed on the bodhisattva ancient tree. Before a smile could surface on Han Yu's and Zhu Feng's faces, they suddenly sensed an exceedingly terrifying force surging from the spots where their palms had landed. Shock quickly surged into Han Yu's and Zhu Feng's eyes because of this frightening retaliation force. They did not have the time to dodge before that terrifying force fearlessly charged into their bodies. All of their Do Qi defenses collapsed as both of them flew backwards like kites with their string cut. They spat out a mouthful of blood as their bodies formed an arc in the air. Everyone present was startled when they saw Han Yu and Zhu Feng being defeated in an instant. They quickly looked at the Bodhisattva ancient tree with some shock. This thing was indeed extraordinary. Xuna's pretty eyes stared intently at Xiao Yan in the Bodhisattva ancient tree. She only sighed in relief after seeing that he was not awoken. Her pretty icicled eyes swung to Han Yu and Ju Feng as a golden flame rose within them. The experts from the Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe were shocked after seeing Xuna's eyes. They hurriedly gathered Han Yu and Ju Feng, who had climbed to their feet. Looking at the situation, they seemed to be ready to engage in a big fight at the slightest disagreement. Xun don't be reckless. Jiyu Qingyang stopped Xun. His eyes looked at Han Yu's group in an unfriendly manner. The Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe were clearly cooperating. It would be difficult to determine a victor if they were to engage in a bloody battle. Most importantly, the commotion would be far too great should they really fight. They would end up losing more than they gain if they wake Xiao Yang from his condition. Xun was similarly aware of Jiyu Qingyang's concern in her heart. Hence, she nodded and slowly withdrew her ice-cold eyes. Her eyes soon shifted to Xiao Yang seated in the tree with his eyes shut. Blah. Han Yu and Ju Feng wiped off the trace of blood from the corner of their mouths. They looked at Xiao Yang, who continued to remain still in the tree. A dark and solemn expression appeared on their faces. It was unexpected that they were unable to wake him from his slumber even with their combined attack. Looks like the Bodhisattva ancient tree is protecting him. Just what kind of damn luck does this fellow have? Han Yu and Ju Feng were clearly aware that the retaliation force from earlier had been unleashed by the Bodhisattva ancient tree. Otherwise, with just Xiao Yang's strength alone, it would have been impossible for him to fight against the both of them. Nevertheless, they were helpless despite being aware of this fact. After the exchange earlier, they already understood that even if they were to gather everyone here, it would be impossible for them to even damage a leaf on the Bodhisattva ancient tree. Regardless of how jealous they felt in their hearts, they could only watch because of the protection offered by the Bodhisattva ancient tree. The atmosphere of the space appeared grave after Han Yu and Ju Feng became quiet. There were two parties that did not see eye to eye. The other groups that did not belong to the three factions did not dare to randomly intervene in such a fight. They stood far away and searched for a method to leave. This Bodhisattva ancient tree seems to have a good impression of Xiao Yang. I wonder what happened earlier. Under normal circumstances, Xiao Yang should have also fallen into an illusion. Jiyu Qingyang glazed at Han Yu's group before turning his head to remark to Xun. Xun slightly nodded. She said, "It seems that it is impossible to leave this place. I made an attempt earlier, but I was unable to tear open even the slightest spatial crack. I'm afraid that we can only wait for Xiao Yang Ji to awaken." Jiyu Qingyang nodded. He had also made an attempt. The space in this place was surprisingly firm. Even though he had used all his strength, he could not create even the tiniest spatial ripple. Even less needed to be said about tearing space. All we can do is wait. At least the life force in this place is extremely dense. It should not be much of a problem to wait for some time. Kaylin also opened her mouth to speak at this moment. It was impossible for her to abandon Xiao Yang and leave. However, we should remain cautious of those people during this period of time. The group slowly nodded after hearing these words. Han Yu and his gang clearly possessed some ill thoughts. Even though it was only a legend, they were extremely unwilling to allow Xiao Yang experience the reincarnations and knowledge from the Bodhisattva ancient tree, especially if it allowed him to gain the potential to reach the Dodi class. Given both parties' stances, it would be a great disaster for them if Xiao Yang reached that stage. The concept of time within this mysterious place was extremely blurry, but no one was able to form a spatial crack go escape. Everyone still felt some fear, because of the extremely lifelike illusion from earlier, so no one truly dared to act wildly in this place. Although it was a little boring, it was at least real. If one were stuck in that illusion again, it would be impossible to differentiate between reality and the illusion. That feeling was extremely terrifying. As time continued to flow, everyone gradually began to enter their training states. The energy in this place was filled with a great life force. It was a supplement that could nourish anyone. Moreover, if one used this energy to heal one's injuries, it would even be able to get rid of hidden injuries within one's body. Hence, everyone began to enter a training state while they waited. All of them benefited during this period of time. Of course, Zana's group had naturally allocated some people to monitor Han Yu's group while they trained. They were prepared to jump into action following any problems. Fortunately, after experiencing the retaliation force, Han Yu and Ju Feng understood that any crazy actions were useless. Hence, they did not secretly attack during this period of time. Around 1 month slowly passed in this place amid this dull training. The Bodhisattva ancient tree did not show any activity during this 1 month. Xiao Yang, who had remained seated inside, was just like a mosquito frozen in an amber. He did not move and even his aura had disappeared from everyone's senses. Sometimes, even Zana's group would feel panic in their hearts. Fortunately, they still retained their rational thoughts and did not do anything because of this panic. Although they retained their sense of reasoning, others were uneasy and began to go crazy with the flow of time. After all, no one was willing to be trapped in this place forever. If that was the case, what difference was there between them and a prisoner? This irritation continued for 7 days, before some people were finally unable to endure the madness in their hearts. These people's eyes turned red, and they prepared to fight with the Bodhisattva ancient tree when the human figure seated inside it finally shook. Those eyes, which had been shut for a month, were slowly opened in front of many shocked gazes. This space, which was filled with life force, suddenly fluctuated after the person inside the Bodhisattva ancient tree slowly opened his eyes. Everyone looked at the pair of dark black eyes inside the Bodhisattva ancient tree. At that instant, everyone seemed to see an old experienced expression that seemed to have seen through everything in the world. This kind of feeling originated from deep within that person's soul, and it was impossible to replicate. Xiao Yang Gege. Zana looked at Xiao Yang, who had opened his eyes. Her pretty pupils were filled with joy. This person's eyes really penetrate others. Han Yu's group exchanged glances with each other. They had felt a different feeling from the rest. From their senses, they felt as though their souls had been exposed to Xiao Yang when he had looked at them. This feeling was full of discomfort. The entire place was completely quiet. Everyone's eyes gathered on Xiao Yang, who was still embraced by the Bodhisattva ancient tree. They had only read about those who could train under the Bodhisattva ancient tree in some ancient texts. Hence, they did not know what kind of change one would experience after this training. Xiao Yang, who was under the Bodhisattva ancient tree, had an expression of complete loss in front of the many pairs of eyes. His eyes slowly swept over all of them. Finally, they paused on Zana's group. Those eyes, which were filled with experience and age, began to reveal a familiar glint. Zun. Xiao Yang slowly opened his mouth. A moment later, a somewhat hoarse voice that contained an aged tone was slowly transmitted from the Bodhisattva ancient tree. The expressions of anyone who heard this voice involuntarily changed. This tone was completely different from Xiao Yang's tone in the past. However, the old and experienced expression that permeated Xiao Yang's eyes was slowly withdrawn after this aged voice sounded. Finally, it completely vanished. The old and experienced expression had totally disappeared, as though it had entered deep into Xiao Yang's soul. No one was able to detect it. Who? Xiao Yang lifted his head after this old and experienced expression vanished. He slowly exhaled a mouthful of an emerald green vapor. Soon after, he stood up from the Bodhisattva ancient tree and slowly stepped forward in front of the eyes of many. A ripple formed on the surface of the Bodhisattva ancient tree when Xiao Yang's body touched it. His body appeared like liquid as it slowly slid through the incomparably hard Bodhisattva ancient tree. I have finally returned. Xiao Yang stretched his lazy waist after walking away from the Bodhisattva ancient tree. His clear laughter caused Zana's group to sigh in relief. Fortunately, this was Xiao Yang's old voice. Xiao Yang Gege, are you all right? Zana quickly stepped forward. Her pretty eyes continued to sweep over Xiao Yang as she asked a question. I'm fine. Xiao Yang shook his head. His hand involuntarily touched Zun's smooth black hair, as deep feelings flashed across his eyes. In the eyes of others, he seemed to have only spent 1 month within the Bodhisattva ancient tree. However, he understood that his soul had already experienced 100 reincarnations within the Bodhisattva ancient tree. If his mind wasn't strong, he would have gotten lost within those reincarnations. Fortunately, he had gone through the experiences with a firm heart and finally returned. Within a short month, he had experienced too many lives and too many deaths. The danger level was clearly no different than battling with a genuine Do Xing. Zana did not dodge, as she looked at Xiao Yang's eyes. Although she was unaware of what Xiao Yang had experienced, she was certain of one thing: this 1 month of training was not as easy as what he showed. Since Xiao Yang was unwilling to say more, she would naturally not ask. Thank you. Xiao Yang turned his head. His eyes shifted to the Bodhisattva ancient tree. He cupped his hands together and laughed. Rustle, rustle. The Bodhisattva ancient tree, which did not show any activity for a month, suddenly swayed its body when it heard Xiao Yang's thanks. It emitted a rustling sound, causing everyone to feel amazed. This thing actually possessed an intelligence, but it had been unwilling to bother with them. Your aura, it seems that even I cannot quite see through it. Could you have broken through to the Ban Xing class? Jiyu Qingyang walked forward and softly asked. His tone contained some disbelief, because he realized that he was unable to sense Xiao Yang's aura. This kind of feeling was something that even some elite Ban Xing in the clan had never given him. How can it be this easy? Xiao Yang shook his head. He was not lying to Jiyu Qingyang. The current him had yet to break through to the Ban Xing class. He was only a 9th change peak Do Zun. Of course, in 1 month's time, he had achieved a level that others could not achieve even with a decade of training. This speed was very shocking, but Xiao Yang understood that the 1 month in the eyes of others had been a century to him. He used 100 years to refine his Do Qi and repeatedly compress it. Only then did the Do Qi in his body complete the 9th change and reach the true peak of the Do Zun class. This kind of speed could not be considered fast. Instead, it was relatively slow. However, Xiao Yang was also very cautious of strength that he had obtained from nothing. Even this strength obtained from the reincarnation training had been repeatedly suppressed by him. He did not dare to allow his strength to soar too much. His ambition was extremely great, and he did not wish to sacrifice his future gains for some little benefits. Jiyu Qingyang was startled when he saw Xiao Yang shake his head. He could only helplessly smile. The current Jiyu Qingyang was unable to see through Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang withdrew his eyes. He suddenly turned to Han Yu, Ju Feng, and the rest. They all quickly circulated the Do Qi within their bodies when they saw Xiao Yang look over. Their eyes were cold as they cautiously stared at him. All of them would attack should Xiao Yang display any unusual actions. A ridicule was lifted on the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth when he saw the reactions of those two. If he were to have met these two before entering the Bodhisattva ancient tree, he would have definitely been very afraid of them, but now this fear had completely vanished, because the current him was absolutely confident that he could easily control those two in his palm. The surging mighty strength within his body gave Xiao Yang this simple feeling. Han Yu and Ju Feng involuntarily clenched their fists when they saw the smile on Xiao Yang's face, especially Han Yu. The warm smile that had always been present on his face had paled. A dark expression filled his eyes. He could sense a real danger from the current Xiao Yang. Other than the lunatic within the Han clan, Xiao Yang in front of him was now the second person from the same generation to give him this vague feeling of danger. This brat seems to have turned into a different person after training under the Bodhisattva ancient tree. Ju Feng's expression was gloomy. If he had known that Xiao Yang would experience such a lucky opportunity, he would not have restrained himself the first time they had met. He would have intervened and killed him, and then the problems now would not have occurred. However, Zhu Feng was unaware that everyone present would still be trapped in an illusion if Xiao Yang had not given his aid to eliminate the negative emotions of the elite Dodi from the Bodhisattva ancient tree. In the future, they would have all ended up with a fate similar to the Bansheng puppets they had met earlier. An emerald green glow was suddenly emitted from the Bodhisattva ancient tree while everyone's emotions were churning because of Xiao Yang's transformation. Something seemed to be spat out. Han Yu's group hurriedly withdrew when they saw the Bodhisattva ancient tree move. They had already experienced just how frightening it was. Naturally, they did not dare to slight it. However, a soft muffled sound appeared time and time again from within the Bodhisattva ancient tree, while they withdrew as many emerald green light spots were spat out of it. Finally, these light spots remained suspended in the air like flowers scattered by a fairy. Bodhisattva seeds. Everyone was startled when they saw these light spots. Many exclamations were suddenly unleashed from their mouths. They are actually all Bodhisattva seeds. Han Yu's group also looked at the emerald light spots with shock. They never would have imagined that the Bodhisattva ancient tree would spit out over 20 of these Bodhisattva seeds that were incomparably rare in the outside world. Snatch. Most people's eyes reddened after feeling shocked. Many majestic Do Chi suddenly surged. After which, they turned into rays of light that wildly grabbed at these green light spots. Xiao Yang merely laughed after seeing the reddened eyes of Han Yu's group. He beckoned with his hand and those green light spots seemed to have been summoned. They emitted a swoosh sound as they dodged the hands of those trying to grab them. All of them gathered into Xiao Yang's hand after a couple of flashes. "Thank you for your gift, Brother Bodhisattva." Xiao Yang turned his head and smiled to the Bodhisattva ancient tree after grabbing these Bodhisattva seeds. After which, he flicked his finger. A couple of Bodhisattva ancient seeds in his hands shot out and appeared in front of Zun Kailin, Jiyu Qingyang, and the rest of the members of his group. "Brother Xiao, thanks." Jiyu Qingyang, Jiyu Xing, and the few others looked at the Bodhisattva seeds in front of them with heated eyes. They unceremoniously grabbed them before cupping their hands to thank Xiao Yang. "Ha ha, it's nothing." Xiao Yang smiled and shook his head. He looked at the group of red-eyed people before flicking his finger once again. A couple of Bodhisattva seed flew out and stopped in front of a few neutral experts. Xiao Yang's sudden actions caused the few experts to be startled. They hurriedly grabbed the Bodhisattva seed in front of them as a grateful expression surfaced in their eyes. They swiftly moved aside. They were well aware that Xiao Yang did not wish for them to get involved in the subsequent matters. Han Yu's and Zhu Feng's groups were looking at Xiao Yang, who was distributing the Bodhisattva seeds, with a gloomy expression. A red glow flickered in their eyes. "Bastard, you are asking to die." Zhu Feng was finally unable to control the fury in his heart as the red light in his eyes became denser. A furious cry that was filled with murderous intent echoed around this space. Xiao Yang turned his head slowly after hearing Zhu Feng's furious cry that was filled with murderous intent. His cold eyes were just like a ferocious beast as they stared at Zhu Feng. Zhu Feng suddenly felt a chill on his skin as Xiao Yang looked at him. Only then did he recover some of his coolness. His expression continued to remain quite gloomy and cold. His eyes did not give in and stared continuously at Xiao Yang while he spoke in a dense voice. "We have entered the Bodhisattva ancient tree together and experienced so many obstacles. Yet, you are now planning to take all the Bodhisattva seeds away. Aren't you a little too unreasonable?" Xiao Yang burst out in laughter after hearing this. He said, "Unreasonable? I'm afraid that this is not what you are thinking. You should be thinking of talking with your fist, right?" Xiao Yang clearly understood in his heart that if it was not because his strength deterred Zhu Feng, it was likely that the latter would have attacked and forcefully snatched those Bodhisattva seeds. Being reasonable. This was a kind of protection that the weak sought in the face of great strength. The corner of Zhu Feng's eyes twitched a couple of times. A murderous desire that could not be suppressed surged within his heart, but it was fortunate that he retained some rational thoughts and did not immediately attack. Instead, he turned his head and looked at Han Yu. His voice was gloomy as he said, "Brother Han Yu, don't tell me that you are happy that he took all the bodhisattva seeds away, making our effort during this period of time to be worthless, right? Han Yu's expression was calm. He did not reply. Instead, both of his eyes were flickering with a sinister expression, and displayed the dissatisfaction in his heart. Regardless of how calculating he was, he still had difficulty suppressing his fury and desire to kill at this moment. Xiao Yan, distribute 8 bodhisattva seeds to my Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix side to end this matter. Han Yu was quiet for a moment before his ice-cold voice was finally emitted. Xiao Yang smiled. He opened his hand and 11 bodhisattva seeds sat in his palm. If he was to give 8 bodhisattva seeds to them, he would only have 3 left. This was not something that Xiao Yang would do. Moreover, these bodhisattva seeds possess the mysterious effect of raising one's chances of successfully advancing to the Doshin class, and a seed could be used to refine a bodhisattva pill. This Tier 8 medicinal pill, which could summon a 9-colored pill lightning, could cause many 9-change peak Dozun experts to go crazy. If he were to give these bodhisattva seeds to them, these 2 factions might have more people break through to the Doshin class. Would Xiao Yang not end up creating powerful enemies for no reason? With Xiao Yang's character, he would naturally not do something so foolish. Hence, he gently shook his head and slowly replied, I refuse. The atmosphere of this place became tense after Xiao Yang's 2 words slowly sounded. A pressure pressed down on everyone's hearts. They knew that the matter today would not end peacefully. Han Yu's expression became volatile after Xiao Yang uttered those 2 words. Han Yu glared at Xiao Yang. A moment later, he slowly nodded and said, in that case, I can only kill you first. Bang. After Han Yu's last word sounded, the many experts from the Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe simultaneously unleashed their Do Chi without any restraint. Their bodies flashed as they surrounded Xiao Yang's group. The expressions of Zun Er's group gradually turned cold when the Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe attacked at the same time. They stepped forward and the Do Chi within their bodies began to circulate. Han Yu, are you really planning on starting a big war between the Jiyu clan and the Han clan? Jiyu Qingyang coldly cried out. Big war. My Han clan has never been afraid of your Jiyu clan. We have left you in peace for so long to give you all a little more time. Do you really think that my Han clan doesn't dare touch you? A shady smile was lifted on Han Yu's face when he heard Jiyu Qingyang's cry. His dense eyes shifted back to Xiao Yang as he said, your name has recently been circulating around my Han clan. Even 4th Tianzuan failed. Back then, I told them we should act decisively if we were going to act at all, but those old fellows were clearly unconcerned. You have only managed to survive now because they didn't care. However, I think that we should end this uncaring stance. A dense black Do Chi suddenly surged out of Han Yu's body in all directions after his words sounded. Wave after wave of chilly ripples continued to spread from his body. A solemn expression surged onto the faces of Zun Er's group when they sensed the majestic ripple that spread from Han Yu's body. This Han Yu could be ranked within the top 3 among the younger generation of the Han clan. Such a person was relatively troublesome to deal with. Leave Xiao Yang to me. Brother Ju Feng, the others will be blocked by your Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe and the other experts from the Han clan. Ju Feng nodded after hearing Han Yu's words. He glanced at Xiao Yang and said, I wish to face this brat in battle, but since Brother Han Yu has already spoken, I will leave him to you. Attack. Bang. Murderous desire surged within the eyes of the many experts surrounding Zun Er's group after Ju Feng's cold cry sounded. Powerful Do Chi pillars whistled toward Zun Er's group without mercy. Humph. Faced with the attacks of the many experts from the Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, Zun Er's group let out a cold snort. Their sleeves were swung and those Do Chi pillars were annihilated when they were still 10 feet away from their bodies. Although their group was smaller than the Han clan and the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, their quality was a little better. Xiao Yang Ge, why don't you leave Han Yu for me to handle? Zun Er turned to Xiao Yang as she shattered a Do Chi pillar that was rushing over. There's no need for that. Xiao Yang faintly smiled. Before he had entered the Bodhisattva ancient tree, he would only have been able to obtain victory against Han Yu, who was a 6-change peak Dozun, if he used a fire lotus. Now, Xiao Yang's level and fighting strength completely surpassed Han Yu. What did Han Yu have that allowed him to fight with Xiao Yang? All of you only need to deal with Ju Feng and the rest. The remaining neutral experts will likely not get involved in this matter after receiving the Bodhisattva seeds. Hence, we should be able to deal with these people despite their large numbers. Xiao Yang glanced at some of the neutral experts who had withdrawn into the distance. These people were quite strong. If they were to aid Han Yu's group, the pressure they would face would increase. If Xiao Yang had not been worried about them joining his enemies, he would have been happy to retain a couple more Bodhisattva seeds. You should be careful, Zun did not insist after hearing his words. She merely nodded. Xiao Yang smiled. He stepped forward and slowly walked out of the circle that the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe and the Han clan had formed. Those people gave way when he walked out. Only after Xiao Yang exited the circle did they reform the shape around Zun's group. The Qiushi ancient god Jade should be in your hands, right? A black glint flashed within Han Yu's eyes. He questioned as he watched Xiao Yang slowly walk forward and stop a short distance away. You want it? Come take it. Xiao Yang laughed. Han Yu narrowed his eyes. A dark and cold expression suddenly surfaced on his pale jade-like face. Xiao Yang's smiling face caused a desire to kill to surge within his heart. Razor-tongue brat. Han Yu coldly laughed. Xiao Yang smiled as he looked at Han Yu in front of him. He said, "Stop playing these games, they are useless in front of me." Xiao Yang suddenly swung his fist toward the empty space to his left after his words sounded. A hot wind formed on his fist, as an intense fluctuation immediately formed in that space. After which, a figure staggered out of thin air and miserably flew back. That person was surprisingly Han Yu. Han Yu's face turned gloomy after being forced back by Xiao Yang's punch. He glanced at the after-image that gradually paled. It was unexpected that Xiao Yang's senses were so sharp. Xiao Yang glanced at Han Yu's gloomy face. He glanced at the chaotic battle a short distance away before shaking his head. Without delaying any longer, he took a step forward, and an incomparably vast and mighty aura suddenly surged out of his body in all directions. This aura swept over the entire space the moment it appeared. Some of the weaker individuals vaguely felt a pressure. 9-change peak Dozun. The expressions of those neutral experts in the distance suddenly changed when they sensed the great strength of this aura. Their faces revealed their shock as they looked at Xiao Yang. All of them were certain that Xiao Yang had not possessed this strength 1 month ago. Han Yu's face twitched at this moment. His expression had become extremely ugly. Only at this moment did he understand why Xiao Yang was unafraid of him. The answer was because Xiao Yang's strength had already far surpassed his. So what if your strength is at the 9th change of a peak Dozun? Do you think that I am afraid of you? Han Yu inhaled a deep breath of air. He suppressed the shock in his heart as the seal formed by his hands changed. A clan tattoo slowly appeared on his brow. His aura suddenly soared when this clan tattoo appeared. His aura approached Xiao Yang's level in the blink of an eye. 8 change, huh? Unfortunately, this is still insufficient. Xiao Yang smiled and shook his head upon sensing Han Yu's aura. We will know whether it is enough after exchanging blows. Han Yu coldly laughed. His hand seal changed, and he formed many complicated seals. The cold Do Chi within his body formed a frightening black palm in front of him with lightning-like speed. Sharp miserable cries continued to be emitted from the palm. There was a savage-looking face vaguely visible on it. Soul destruction palm. Han Yu let out a furious shout after the miserable cries from the palm became intense. That dark black palm quickly rushed toward Xiao Yang with lightning-like speed. The dark black palm was not very large, but it contained an extremely dark, cold, and powerful Do Chi. Han Yu understood that he would end up losing if he did not use all his strength against the much stronger Xiao Yang. I have said, it is insufficient. Xiao Yan continued to slowly shake his head even as Han Yu's powerful palm continued toward him. After which, he took 2 gentle steps forward and appeared in front of Han Yu's palm. Han Yu looked on with shocked eyes, as a hot flame suddenly surged out of Xiao Yan's right hand. Finally, it gently slammed into the dark black palm. Crack! A stalemate lasted for an instant as the two collided. After which, everyone watching was stunned to see that the dark black palm, which had gathered most of Han Yu's do qi, was easily burst apart by a random strike of Xiao Yan's hand. This strength absolutely suppressed the attack since it came from a completely different level. Part 1 end here.